Good evening. Welcome, everyone. It is my pleasure to serve as your Master of Ceremonies this evening and to also welcome you to one of the greatest celebrations of Black men. When we speak of Black Men XCEL and celebrating the best of who we are embracing more than just a theme. Excellence is not just a concept, it's a goal and a call to action. We each have a role to play in opening doors, not only for ourselves, but for those who come after us. And together, we can shape a future where opportunity is abundant, achievement is celebrated, and the best of who we are continues to shine. So let's get to it, y'all. Please join me in welcoming the CEO of Black Enterprise, Earl Butch Graves Jr., to the stage.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you to our 8th Annual XCEL Awards, an unparalleled celebration of the excellence and achievements of Black men in corporate America, entrepreneurship, and beyond. However, there is no way I can speak with you this evening without addressing the outcome of yesterday's presidential election. Honestly, I am disappointed, but I am not surprised. That's because elections are not about hope, but about power. We should never underestimate the unwillingness of those in power to give up that power. It is not a coincidence that Donald Trump's only electoral defeat was at the hands of another white male candidate, but he's soundly beaten both female presidential nominees. That said, we must get past any disappointment and immediately get focused on deciding how we, as Black men, want to participate in the promise of the wealth creation within these United States. What must we do to leverage our own power? Yes, and give yourself a round of applause. What must we do to leverage our own power, as opposed to relying on the hopes that others will voluntarily relinquish theirs as a matter of morality and good character? Please understand, there is no great coalition of hope coming to save us as Black people. Latinos and Asians, regardless of gender, did not align with us. White voters, including most white women, did not choose allyship with Black voters. In fact, the only voting bloc aligned with Black male voters were Black women, who never failed to show up both for us and themselves. However, here's a hard truth. We Black men do not always show up for each other the way Black women do. Black women have any numbers of must-attend events, standing appointments on their collective calendars that they will never miss, including our own Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit and the Essence Festival of Culture. Women of Power attendees begin registering for the next year on the closing night of the current year, because Black women do not play when it comes to showing up for each other. They talk with their calendars and their money. Let me repeat, our women of power don't show up for Black Enterprise. They show up for each other. Black Men XCEL is designed to be that for us. But the truth is, it's not, at least not yet. Now, the power to make that happen for this and other events for Black men rests squarely on our shoulders. So I'm here to challenge you to invest in each other as Black men. We as Black men must build each other up the way Black women build each other up. We as Black men must take each other seriously by respecting each other, protecting each other, investing in each other, working in solidarity with each other, and simply showing up for each other at events like this Black Men XCEL Summit. The alternative is to hope that someone will simply give us power or give up power to us or wield their power on our behalf and against their own preferences and interests. Here's a newsflash. That's not going to happen. Power never concedes to weakness. Power only responds to power. Democrats, respectfully, have no solutions for us, no promises that they can be counted on to deliver. Black people are not part of the power structure of the Democratic power any more than we are of the Republican Party. Even a third party is only as effective as the power of its supporters. So please look around, brothers. Other than the Almighty God, our power can come from no other source but ourselves. Or, as the brothers like to say, we are Him. So, can I count on you? Can you count on me? Can we count on each other? Now, some of you are the first black men ever in your position in your company or your industry. And while on surface you may submit that as a badge of honor, when in fact it is actually a badge of shame. The question is, can we count on you to make sure that you're not the only or the last? Will you share the cheat codes of your success? Will you mentor, train, support, and sponsor other black men to duplicate and even exceed your achievement? When a brother with a viable business wants to do business with the corporation you work for, will you be a navigator or a gatekeeper? When you discover the invisible pathways and secret corridors that lead to board positions and C-suite opportunities, will you show others the way? When you are in the right rooms with the right people, will you advocate for the talented brothers in your network who are not in that room? So I challenge you to make the commitment right now to always answer yes. You can count on me. I can count on you, and we can count on each other. We can win together, regardless of losses, detours, delays, and setbacks along the way, no matter who is in the White House. And when we do, we will celebrate those wins and each other, which is exactly what we're here to do this evening. Now, we don't lead the charge all by ourselves. We partner with others who believe in our vision and your value. And among them is our longtime Black Men XCEL host, FedEx. Please direct your attention to the video screen.
So our customers shipped the original negatives of a classic Elvis movie,
not knowing the film would disintegrate above 40 degrees.
FedEx presents Tall Tales of True Deliveries.
There it is.
We got it just in time.
Thank you very much.
So basically, Elvis lives. Long live the king.
If this is what we did for film history, see what we can do for your business. FedEx.
Please join me in welcoming the Senior Vice President of Operations for FedEx, Mr. Marc Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and thank you, Butch, for the wonderful introduction. It's an honor to stand before you tonight representing FedEx as one of the major sponsors of the Black Men XCEL Summit. This summit is a powerful occasion for celebrating the remarkable achievements for our honorees, individuals whose influence, impact, and leadership exemplify the very purpose of the Black Men XCEL Summit, celebrating the best of who we are. Our honorees are a living proof of the extraordinary power of dedication, vision, and purpose. These trailblazers have opened doors of opportunity, set new standards for leadership,
and left an indelible mark on their industries, communities, and the lives of so many others. They inspire all of us, showing what's possible when ambition meets purpose. FedEx is proud to have partnered with Black Enterprise for over 2 decades, supporting events like Black Men XCEL, the Disruptor Summit, and the Women of Power Summit. Our long-standing sponsorship and support reflect the commitment to actively invest in programs that empower opportunity and foster growth, connection, and career advancement for everyone, regardless of background. Since our company's inception, creating opportunities has been at the forefront of our commitment to excellence. By providing opportunities to everyone, we ensure that the diverse perspectives, backgrounds, identities, talents, and skills of FedEx team members come together to build a successful company in a constantly changing global marketplace. A recent illustration of this commitment: in fiscal year 2023, 57% of our employees identified as minorities, and among U.S. management positions, 37% were held by individuals from minority backgrounds. This diversity fuels our ability to innovate and lead, aligning with our shared mission to connect the world responsibly, uplift our communities, and drive sustainable impact. Everyone here tonight is a testament of what can be achieved when we prioritize diversity, equity, inclusion, and opportunity. Together, we're promoting a positive change not only within our organizations, but within society at large. So thank you once again to Black Enterprise for hosting this inspiring summit, and thank you to our honorees for exemplifying the very best of who we are. Let's keep striving for a brighter future together. Thank you.
Thank you, Marc. And I also want to thank FedEx for your valued partnership, and in particular, already made my suit donation. Brothers, FedEx is supporting an effort that suits you. You can donate a suit, a blazer, anything a brother could use to help him, step right back into the workforce the right way with some pride and presence. Thank you, FedEx, for your partnership on that and all the other initiatives you do with Black Enterprise. And with that, we're kicking off this year's summit, and has become our custom with the XCEL Awards, recognizing the outstanding trailblazers and triumphant champions whose achievements, contributions, impact, and leadership in every profession and every area of endeavor provide shining examples of success for all of us. This evening, we celebrate Black men who represent absolute greatness and serve as the standard of excellence, not just for African Americans, but for this world. And we'll honor 4 extraordinary individuals who have each left an indelible mark in their respective fields, including a visionary real estate investor hailed as the nation's most successful entrepreneur, and whose ventures have redefined the landscape of modern investment and entrepreneurship. A stand-up comedian and radio host whose sharp wit and philosophical social observations have taken center stage by storm, blending humor with thought-provoking commentary in a style all his own. The distinguished CEO at the helm of North America's most beloved snack and convenient foods business, a powerhouse leading a nearly $21 billion enterprise and transforming the way we snack. And finally, the award-winning broadcaster who, beyond conducting impactful and insightful interviews, has spent a lifetime pursuing truth through a career that has been defined by delivering news with an unmatched style of reporting, one shaped by a unique and discerning perspective on the world's most pivotal events. In keeping with the diversity of their achievements, corporate partners Manulife John Hancock, Fidelity, United Health Group, along with FedEx, will join us in presenting the XCEL Awards to these illustrious individuals. Please join me in thanking each of them for being a part of this special evening. And now to the awards. Here to present this evening's first award is the head of Global Retirement Investment Partnerships for Manulife, John Hancock. Please welcome Michael Banfield.
Thank you, Albert, and good evening, everybody. I have the honor of presenting the first award of the evening to a man who unchallengedly stands out as the best, R. Donahue Peebles. Don has made a remarkable impact on the real estate landscape, both by demonstrating both vision and tenacity. At just 23, he launched his own residential and commercial real estate appraisal firm, setting the stage for a trailblazing career. By his late 20s, he had already acquired the site for his first commercial development, showcasing his ambition and strategic thinking. Within a decade, he made history as the first African American to own and develop a major hotel, establishing himself as a pioneer in the industry. Today, with a multi-billion-dollar portfolio through his corporation, the Peebles Corporation, he continues to create meaningful change and opportunities across the country. His expertise in real estate investment and development is not just about building properties. It's about fostering community growth and empowering and creating pathways, especially for women and minorities to succeed. His journey is a powerful testament to the transformative potential of entrepreneurial leadership in shaping vibrant communities. Let's take a look.
He's a husband, father, an author, media commentator, political leader, and real estate mogul. A trailblazer, Black Enterprise named one of the 50 most influential Black entrepreneurs over the past 50 years.
I'm an activist business person.
R. Donahue Peebles has excelled by pushing back against racism in the building industry and created the largest Black-owned real estate firm in the nation. And his drive started early, thanks to the efforts of his family.
From my father, I got hard work and I got the commitment to excellence. I got my sense of fairness from my mother, got a great deal of passion and drive from her because I watched her start off as a secretary and then start pursuing her dreams, getting her real estate license when I was 8 years old. My maternal grandfather, Thomas Willoughby, I think if I learned how to be what a man was supposed to be, I got it from him.
Peebles would take advantage of living in Washington, D.C. to become a page on Capitol Hill and follow his mother into real estate. And at 23, with the help of Congressman Ron Dellums, he was able to land his first client, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. But his efforts to help Marion Barry win re-election as D.C.'s mayor put his company on the map.
He appointed me to the Property Assessment Appeal Board, and then the following year he made me chairpersons. And so at 24 years old, I was amongst the most powerful people in the government side in the real estate industry. I didn't have a major setback until I was well on my way career-wise. I was competing for a couple of contracts with the city government. Barry, he backed down, and it cost me several $1 million, burned a good capital relationship for me, and kind of shook me up.
After that setback, he left Washington and headed to Miami. And with that came a new opportunity and a lesson he feels all entrepreneurs should learn.
We got a vacation apartment down there, and a few months later I read a newspaper article about the city looking for an African-American developer to redevelop the Royal Palm Hotel. I said, okay, we're gonna go after this deal, we're gonna win it, and it's gonna change the trajectory of the company, and it did. So I think what I learned mostly was that every setback is an opportunity in disguise.
The Peebles Corporation's redevelopment of the Royal Palm would be the nation's first Black-owned and operated resort. Miami also offered an unexpected experience at a club his family joined.
I got a call from a social reporter of the Miami Herald and asked me, how does it feel to be the first Black member of the Bath Club? I said, what are you talking about? No, that can't be possible. She said, well, you didn't know the history of the club? I said, no. And she explained to me it was a restricted club. I said, well, what's that? And she said, it's a club that doesn't allow Blacks and Jews. I said, oh, I didn't know that existed anymore.
And soon after, he gets a call from a broker that the Bath Club is for sale.
I thought about it, and I thought, wow, it would be the symbolism of me buying it. It would send a powerful message, if nothing else. And I should be able to figure out how to make it work.
But there were challenges every step of the way.
We had this meeting of, with all these lenders who were looking at the deal, and not one of them was willing to take a part of the loan. And so I had to solve it myself. But it was very satisfying to build that project. We broke all kinds of barriers, sent a message to both the city of Miami and the country.
The renovated Bath Club is currently considered exclusively inclusive. Now, in its 41st year, the firm has an $8 billion portfolio of projects and groundbreaking plans. They include affordable housing that's being developed with his son, R. Donahue Peebles III, and the Affirmation Tower in New York City. That project stalled by what Peebles sees as a system stuck in the past that still requires his entrepreneurial activism.
My role as a business person is to do my part to knock down some of these barriers.
For his determination to open the business trades to Black entrepreneurs, and his unwavering activism to unlock capital and wealth in the African American communities, Black Enterprise is proud to present the 2024 Black Men XCEL Award to R. Donahue Peebles.
I am honored to present the 2024 Black Enterprise Black Men XCEL Award to R. Donahue Peebles.
Well, first I want to thank Black Enterprise for all they've done. As a young boy growing up in Washington, D.C., working on weekends in my father's car repair garage, I started having dreams and kind of beginning to understand that the world and our country had great dreams. But one of the things that was most important is being able to see people that look like me or my family being able to achieve those big dreams. And so I would go into the local store and they'd have newspapers and so forth. And so I picked up a copy of Black Enterprise magazine. And I started reading about Black Enterprise, and a message from the chairman or publisher was Earl Sr., and talked about entrepreneurship and dreaming. And so I became a reader as a teenager of Black Enterprise, and that showed me the pathway of all that was possible. And I think what's important is that we can't replicate, we can't aspire to anything unless we see it. And what Black Enterprise did was allow me and so many of us to see what was possible and to challenge us to do some exciting things. And so I've had an exciting journey, but it started, frankly, with me seeing it in Black Enterprise and understanding what it was like. And so I want to thank the Graves family for all they've done, and Butch for carrying on a great legacy and making a great company even greater. And I want to thank you for that. And today, we had an election yesterday, and one of the things that, when I reflect back on what I've been able to accomplish as an entrepreneur, and it really started, I was born in 1960, so I grew up during the Civil Rights Movement. And so I remember the day Dr. King was assassinated. I remember what happened in my community as a result. And I remember what happened when Robert Kennedy was killed, and then seeing our country transform. And it was those civil rights leaders who, like Andrew Young, Maynard Jackson, Marion Barry, Harold Washington, John Lewis, John Conyers, they came through the civil rights movement and they got our people to get registered to vote and to engage in the political process and empower black elected officials. They, in turn, used that political power to create black wealth. Atlanta is a prime example of that because of what Maynard Jackson did with Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, a dream of one man, a political leader, to make Atlanta a global city and build an international airport, and then surprise everybody by requiring that 35% of the contracts that be provided for black entrepreneurs. And so what I learned, and I'm the beneficiary of the opportunities from the political process through Marion Barry, through Ron Dellums, through John Conyers. And so what they taught me and what I've tried to do with my life and my career is when I've made some accomplishments, I recognize that those accomplishments came from great sacrifice from others. Lots of work, lots of risk, people putting themselves in harm's way day after day to make our lives better. And so my success comes a responsibility. And that responsibility is that we have to take what they gave us as a baton, and that we have the responsibility and the obligation to continue their work. And so I have made sure that my company does business in a way that we use business as a tool of transformation to empower African-American entrepreneurs, to give African-American businesses a fair chance, and to give them an opportunity to grow their businesses, because that is a responsibility, because Dr. King didn't give his life so I could make a little bit of money, gave his life so we could all have a better society and so we could live our dreams and we could pursue our pursuit of happiness and pursue our dreams. And so part of what I've tried to do is build a legacy. My son is here this evening, and he will be the next generation. Because we need to build sustainable, long-term wealth, because our community's challenges, by and large, are economics. With greater access to economics, if we uplift the burden that we carry, a disproportionate burden of poverty in this country, we change that, we will change the plight of our people, we will change and provide better education for our children, we'll provide a more equitable criminal justice system, we will keep our kids out of the criminal justice system and give them alternatives in life. We will create better facilities and better qualities of life for our people if we can have economic success. And so I challenge all of us in business to use business as a tool of transformation. And remember that we're black business people. We don't get to be just business people. We are black business people because we set a standard for others. We're going to be judged more harshly, and we should embrace that because that's what it is. But also, we have the obligation and the responsibility to make it a lot easier for the next generation. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank Butch and Black Enterprise again for honoring me. I'm humbled and greatly appreciate it, and I will redouble my work to continue to build a company that provides unlimited access to opportunities for African Americans in this country. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Don, and thank you, Michael. Join me in welcoming our next presenter, the Executive Vice President of Operations for United Health Group, Albert Simeon Jr.
Thank you, Alfred. Good evening. It is my great pleasure to present the XCEL Award to our next honoree, D.L. Hughley. There is an adage, as well as a gospel tune often heard and sung in black God is not through with me yet. An adage, perhaps, appropriately attributed to this extraordinary gentleman. Darrell Lynn Hughley, DL, embodies a spirit of resilience and transformation. Growing up in South Central LA and navigating the challenges of life as a former gang member and a high school dropout, he turned those experiences into a powerful tool for connection through humor. His comedic style, with social commentary, reflects the complexities of race, politics, and everyday life. His stand-up, blending humor with poignant observations, makes him a standout figure in both comedy and activism. Reminiscent of the greats before him, like Dick Gregory and Richard Pryor. For his use of laughter, not just to entertain, but to provoke thought and encourage dialogue, it gives me great pleasure to present the 2024 Black Enterprise Black Man XCEL Award to D.L. Hughley. Let's hail the king.
I'd like to thank you all very much. I was going to take my award with me because last time I didn't get it. So it's great to be here, but it was weird to walk past KFC having a convention at the same time. That was, Thank you for that, Mr. Graves. I appreciate that. I'm just glad I went on before the dude that is the king of snacks, because I'd have never had a chance. I don't know why I'm here. I'm glad to be here. I think that it's an honor to be here. And initially, of course, after the events of last night, what I wanted to do was just have a drink and lay down. But and so I'm gonna do that tonight. But what I came away with knowing is that I remember when I was a little boy, I was the first one picked for a fight and the last one picked for a game. And both of them were for the same reason. Somebody wanted an outcome that was favorable to them. They believed that if they fought the small guy or were forced to pick the slowest and small guy, that they would have a certain result. And I felt that's never been the purpose. Like, I've never prayed to God to win. I prayed to God to have me give a good accounting of myself. And I think that's what black people can be proud of last night. You didn't expect to win. And I think part of you knew what would happen. But part of you also knew that you were the only thing standing in the gap. And when I look up today, I see a bunch of black people who were there when history required them to be, regardless of what the result would be. So for that, I give you guys a round of applause. That's spectacular. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what will happen, but I know this. We literally are all we have. So I would caution you the next time you hear the media telling you about black men or me about black women that you know us better. The idea of us, the idea of who we are, has always been illustrated and authored by someone else. And the one thing times like this let us do is know exactly who we are. And who we are is people who stand in the gap and who understand what it's like to stand tall when no one else will. And I appreciate being here. I appreciate this award. Thank y'all very much, and I am honored to be here. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that.
Let's give another round of applause to D.L. Hughley. Now let's continue celebrating this year's Black Men XCEL Honorees with the presentation of the next remarkable gentleman. Please join me in welcoming our presenter, the head of Retirement Income Distribution for Fidelity Investments, DeWyatt McClain.
Thank you, Alfred. Good evening, everyone. I am honored to make this next presentation to a true pioneer. Stephen Williams' career at PepsiCo spans several decades, and his achievements during the span were crowned with the appointment as Chief Executive Officer of PepsiCo Foods North America 5 years ago, where he now oversees 70,000 employees across a portfolio of 42 brands. These brands include 6 powerhouses that each generate more than $1 billion annually, and numerous other bring in over $500 million every year. But his self-defined leadership principles, blended with inherited wisdom imparted by his father, your attitude will determine your altitude, has undoubtedly been instrumental in Stephen's ability to guide PepsiCo through various industry challenges while driving significant growth, earning him a reputation as a visionary executive who not only delivers financial success, but also cultivates a strong, values-driven corporate culture. Please take a look.
He oversees 70,000 employees as the CEO of PepsiCo Foods North America, with a $21 billion portfolio of consumer favorites that are in 94% of U.S. households. Stephen Williams reached his peak position with 28 years of success at the company. That's a far cry from the small town of Haskell, Oklahoma, where he was born.
I am the last of 9 children, and one, you do learn how to compete for resources, but I tell you, that's probably where I learned my perseverance. My dad was a Baptist minister. It was a great upbringing. You know, we were poor, but we didn't know it because we were rich with love.
He credits his father with a major role in shaping the man and manager he would become.
Our dad taught us to always treat people right. Taught me your attitude is going to determine your altitude, and the sky's the limit. And you treat people like you want to be treated. I would tell you, he was probably the biggest influence.
But instead of following in his father's footsteps, Williams turned to a field that fascinated him from an early age.
You know, I've been, feels like in the grocery business my whole life, and I still think I am. I started in high school working in the local grocery store. So Fleming Companies, who was the biggest wholesaler of food retail in the country at the time. They were an Oklahoma-based company, and they recruited. So I ended up starting with them in their management training program, and from there grew to be a buyer, got recruited by Quaker Oats at the time, who owned Gatorade, who was later acquired by PepsiCo.
He found the nation's largest snack producer, a company where he could thrive, and the company found a rising star.
Some people think competition is a mean word in business. It's not. The challenge in business, it's hard to be successful by yourself. It's less about I than it is about we, right? And I think that's important for me in business as you think about career growth.
For his achievements, he made the 2012 Black Enterprise list of the 100 most powerful executives in corporate America, and the 2017 Black Enterprise list of the 300 most powerful executives.
Hey, I think I was blessed with many gifts. I believe that. But I also say nobody gets anywhere without 1, being prepared, 2, having others, 3, having luck. That's what keeps me balanced.
That balance includes not only time with family, but with philanthropy and in the boardroom. He's board chair for United Way of Metropolitan Dallas and a driving force with PepsiCo's Food for Good. He sits on the boards of State Farm, the National Retail Federation, and the Executive Leadership Council. And he sees similar opportunities for Black entrepreneurs now making their way in business or climbing the corporate ladder.
You have to do the work. There isn't a shortcut to here. You have to build trust with the organization which means you have to get results. You have to be relied on to do what you say you're going to do. If I were to give advice to somebody that's working to move through a company, don't just stay in the safe zone. I just think you have to have a little bit of edge when you think about your career, and don't forget to take a few risks.
For his ability to meet all challenges to grow his division, his compassionate, collaborative management style, and his attitude of gratitude in personal life and career, Black Enterprise is proud to present the 2024 Black Men XCEL Award to Stephen Williams.
It is my honor to present the 2024 Black Enterprise Black Men XCEL Award to Stephen Williams.
Wow. So thank you and good evening. I think DL got out of here, but is he kidding me? I'm after dinner and him. But that's okay. That's okay. So first, I want to thank Black Enterprise for this incredible achievement award. When I think about Black Men XCEL, I can't help but talk about Earl Graves. He was a trailblazer, and his legacy reminds me the importance of championing Black excellence. And it reminds me of how we have an obligation to build pathways for others and for future generations. Everybody in this room has that obligation for others. And we believe that everybody should be able to succeed at PepsiCo, as did Mr. Graves. And so was not only a friend, and Butch is still a friend, he also owned a Pepsi bottler, so he's family. Is that right? Family. And when Butch called me, as he does occasionally, not too often, but I always pick up the phone, because I know he's got something to say. But I never know what it is. It may be good news, maybe it's not so good news. But in this case, it was great news, and I was thrilled and have so much gratitude for the opportunity to be in this room today with other giants. And I do say that because if you don't have gratitude and you don't understand, you didn't make yourself, you didn't get here by yourself. You had a lot of help. And I have that gratitude deep inside me. And so I would also tell you, I want to thank my family. You saw a quick shot of them. My wife, Christy, of 31 years, and my son, Jacob, and my daughter, Lauren, who, moved with us 7 times, did without me at a lot of events that I wish I could have been at. And sometimes success is also sacrifice. So I want to thank them first. Second, I would say I want to thank my PepsiCo colleagues. We got a few in the house. Oh, man. Now, you got to represent all 320,000 PepsiCo associates worldwide. That wasn't loud enough. So is PepsiCo in the house? All right, that's better. So, I tell you, I'm glad we're able to share this with a few of our colleagues this weekend because this is a very special night. And again, thank you to Black Enterprise and to everyone here for being committed to uplifting and inspiring Black men. It's a very important thing for us to focus on in this environment and the environment to come. So thank you again. Pleasure to be here, and I look forward to spending time with you all.
Thank you, Alfred. It is always a privilege to recognize individuals who epitomize the focus and determination of what my father envisioned when he founded Black Enterprise. Our final award of the evening, the Earl G. Graves Senior Vanguard Award, is named for my father, the iconic founder of Black Enterprise, who launched our media company in 1969 and began publishing Black Enterprise magazine in 1970. It has been 4 years since my father passed, but he left behind a legacy that transcends time, one that recognized the full spectrum of Black excellence. He was a tireless advocate for ensuring that Black men were acknowledged and valued for their contributions to every facet of society. And his vision extended beyond economic equality. It also celebrated Black men for their intellect, leadership, and innovation across all industries. As a mentor, role model, and champion, he fostered an environment where Black men could thrive professionally and personally. He actively sought to dismantle barriers to entry in corporate America, advocating for mentorship programs, sponsorship initiatives, and networking opportunities that empowered young Black professionals. His efforts not only provided pathways to leadership, but also inspired a cultural shift within organizations to prioritize diversity and inclusion. His legacy remains a fundamental part of Black Enterprise's DNA. We continue to thrive to build a future where the contributions of Black men are celebrated in all spheres of life, and we continue to push for systemic change, ensuring that every individual is given the opportunity to succeed and lead. In tribute, it is my honor to present the following video. Please direct your attention to the screen.
He was a pioneer, a visionary, a change agent who enabled millions of African Americans across 50 years to become a part of the economic and business mainstream.
The whole premise of the magazine is to say to African Americans from the beginning, you too can have a piece of the economic action of this country, right? That the opportunities are there, whether or not you're talking about as a professional going into some line of work, as a person working in another corporation for somebody else, or putting the key in the door yourself every morning.
Black Enterprise was launched in August 1970. That was the very first issue of Black Enterprise. But the story of Black Enterprise launching in August 1970 grew out of something else. Out of tragedy sometimes comes triumph.
The tragedy was the assassination of presidential candidate Robert Kennedy, a time when trusted Kennedy aide Earl Graves Sr. suddenly found himself unemployed. It was the 1970s, and money was tight for most African Americans. They were hungry for a way to build wealth and power, and Graves was ambitious and gutsy enough to show them the way.
I think of the Earl Graves legacy as being one of an example of great business leadership. He had an idea that was really original, and he created something really special that continues today.
Black Enterprise chronicled the major achievements of and advocated for the elevation of Blacks in all aspects of the business arena, from Main Street to Wall Street, from the factory floor to the boardroom. The 35-year-old former Green Beret became known for his tenacity, never taking no for an answer, making the publication profitable by its 9th issue.
No one took lightly to a call from Earl Graves. I mean, that was one of those calls that you took immediately. He made the leaders of businesses, particularly in my case, consumer products businesses, aware of, sensitive to, and compassionate for the African American community.
That helped to create a multi-million-dollar empire. he was responsible for bringing African Americans together through an array of conferences, including the Women of Power Summit, the premier event for female professionals of color. Today, Black Enterprise is under the leadership of his son, CEO Earl Butch Graves, Jr.
The most important lessons I learned from my father was that he never put his family second. Because in his mind, success without sharing it with his family would not be success at all.
Married nearly 52 years to wife Barbara, with 3 sons and 8 grandchildren, Earl Graves Sr. still made time to hold seats on the boards of major corporations. He also made time for ambitious executives hoping to climb the corporate ladder.
He said, "Young man, aim high because I'm going to see some of your senior people, and I'd like to see some people like you in the years to come." He also said, "If I can ever help you, give me a call." And then in classic Earl Graves style, he said, "And if you can ever help me sell some advertising, definitely give me a call."
A long-standing civil rights activist, he believed there could be no social justice without economic opportunity. His mission was to ensure that all Americans, including those of color, share in the American dream of equality and prosperity.
All of us are legacies of Mr. Graves because without him, without the impact of Black enterprise, there would be few opportunities for people like me. And so I am just reminded every day that we owe him a great deal of gratitude.
The Earl G. Graves Senior Vanguard Award is presented each year to a Black man who truly represents my father's legacy of excellence, achievement, impact, and leadership, and the very purpose and spirit of the Black Men XCEL Summit. Let's welcome back Marc Williams from FedEx for the presentation to Ed Gordon, this year's merited recipient.
Thank you, Butch. It's an honor to make this final presentation to such a remarkable man. For decades, Ed Gordon has stood as a beacon of truth in an ever-evolving landscape of journalism, giving a voice to the concerns, struggles, and triumphs of people across the globe. His career spans some of the most tumultuous and transformative periods of modern history, providing insightful and compassionate reporting on the plight of our nation, the challenges faced by international communities, and the private, often poignant, thoughts of world leaders, legends, and some of the most influential personalities of our time. As an award-winning broadcaster, Ed Gordon is not only celebrated for his incisive interviews and powerful storytelling, but also revered as a pioneer for his fearless dedication to uncovering the truth to accuracy, fairness, and integrity. Beyond his stellar interactions with newsmakers or pursuit of hard-hitting stories, he remains a trailblazer in his field, inspiring generations of journalists to follow his footsteps. Above all, his legacy is one of truth, relentless pursuit of justice, a steadfast dedication to giving a voice to those most deserving. Let's take a look.
Ed Gordon grew up in the heart of Motown during the 60s, where both his parents taught in public schools.
I am a proud native of the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. I think I am emblematic of what Detroit is, kind of gritty, kind of raw at times.
His life changed drastically at the age of 11 when his father, a former Olympic gold medal athlete, suddenly passed away.
In losing a parent, I realized the realities of life very early on. I think that clearly shaped me, but I was blessed to have that village that we always talk about around me. A man to this day who lived 2 houses away became my mentor. So while I didn't have my father, I certainly had those images of black men, positive black men, and that clearly shaped me along the way.
It was a time when the budding journalist began to emerge.
Strangely enough, when I was in junior high school, my buddy and I used to sit in the lunchroom and mimic the local newscasters, just fooling around. At that point, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Until one day in college, a professor came to me and said, well, what are you going to do after graduation? I told him I wanted to go to law school, and he said, well, that's great. He said, but I think you'd be good at this TV thing.
His career unfolded like a true Hollywood success story. As a cub reporter at the Detroit PBS station, he was tapped to take the anchor chair when the regular was a no-show. From there, he rose to become his hometown correspondent for BET News, where he thrived. But it was the first post-acquittal interview with O.J. Simpson that introduced Ed Gordon to the world.
O.J. Simpson was the get of the century. Johnny Cochran befriended me. We ended up getting the interview, and I realized that night that I wasn't just trying to look good for Ed Gordon's sake. I wanted to look good because the media had said, well, black reporters wouldn't be unbiased. How could that be? It's not going to be a good interview. And so I said, I'm going to show them that we know what we're doing.
Gordon vaulted from that groundbreaking interview to MSNBC and a stellar 4-decade career that included 60 Minutes to anchoring on National Public Radio and hosting BE's Our World with Black Enterprise.
Welcome to the premiere edition of Our World with Black Enterprise.
For his interviews of the famous and the infamous, he's earned numerous awards and accolades.
I've been very blessed to work for a number of giants in the industry. Obviously, Mr. Graves, who most of us grew up with and certainly admired. Bob Johnson is another, the owner and founder of Black Entertainment Television. What's been great about my career is it wasn't just politicians. It wasn't just celebrities. I kind of ran the gamut. The interview that meant the most to me, without question, hands down, Nelson Mandela. His ability to overcome all that he did, lead that nation, was astounding to me.
Even with his extraordinary success, he has wrestled with doubts along the way.
It's not an easy business, but being a black male in America is not an easy business. You know, you struggle any given time in your life. And so I tell young people, particularly young black men, you know, believe in yourself first, not the bravado of being a man. That's easy.
And what does he hope will be his lasting impact?
I understand there's so few people in this world that leave a true legacy that impacts the world. Somebody like a Mandela, you know, somebody like Muhammad Ali, Rosa Parks, Oprah. My legacy is about the people I touch on a day-to-day. And so I hope when it's all said and done, those people who loved me, who really knew me, can say, yeah, he's a good guy.
For the pioneering work that opened a generation to opportunities in journalism, his dedication to the highest standards in every encounter, and his leadership on and off camera, Black Enterprise is proud to present the 2024 Black Men XCEL Earl G. Graves Sr. Vanguard Award to Ed Gordon.
It's very important, as we talked about here, in terms of making sure that the next generation gets an opportunity to see this and what we celebrate. And I'm blessed to have 2 of my sons here, and so I want them to be here. I want them to join me on stage as we give this award to Ed. So I'm going to ask Earl Graves III, better known as Gibby, and my son Teddy, Theodore, to come and join me on the stage for this award.
Please join me in celebrating the recipient of the 2024 Earl G. Graves Senior Vanguard Award, Mr. Ed Gordon.
Thank you very much. Just before I get started, you know, it's always funny to look back on your life in pictures. Did y'all check out that little money clip thing I had on my? That's the Detroit in me. I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, I thank you for this honor. As the other recipients have suggested tonight, I am humbled. Many of you who have attended over the years know that I'm usually hosting this dinner, so tonight's a little different for me. I greatly appreciate receiving this award tonight. It's only been the last couple of years that I've allowed myself to look back and say about my career, not bad, big fella. I have been blessed with a great career filled with places and people that many only dream about, and I do not take that for granted. And I am doubly honored to receive the Earl Graves Senior Vanguard Award named after B's founder. Mr. Graves was always a guiding light for me and many others. He always had advice, a kind word, and even a playful jab for me every now and then. And by the way, the more I got to know him, the more I got jabbed. So that's kind of how you knew he thought you were a decent person. He made it clear when he believed you were doing right, and he was quick to do the same when he thought your direction might be a little off. He was a trailblazer and a role model that we could point to, and we have too few of those today, I think. I was appreciative to have the opportunity to know him, not from afar, but up close as well. I count myself as part of the Black Enterprise family, and I say thanks to Jen and Derek, Alfred, Kenny, Yolanda, and all of those that I have worked with over the years. And I want to say thank you to Butch. In spite of the gruff exterior, he has actually always looked out for me, and I appreciate it. Good looking out, big fella. I appreciate the friendship we've formed over the years, and you suggested when Butch gives you a call, you kind of look at the phone and say, he's got something to say. That's not my experience. I look at the phone and say, that Negro ain't got, I don't use that word, but you know, I use that other word to say he ain't got nothing to say. I'll call him back. But I do thank him. He has always looked out. Congratulations to all of the honorees. I look forward to talking to DL tomorrow and getting you all involved in our conversation. I've known him forever, and it seems like we've grown up in the business together. And lastly, I have always tried to represent black men in a way that makes our community proud. We are so much more than what mainstream media shows. I have a lot more Detroit in me than the newsman, but everybody don't need to know that. So I hope that all of us believe that I've repped us the right way, and I will continue to do so. I thank you all.